I'm going to be talking about booking a photographer this evening. I had a few phone calls this week from people just asking lots of advice on booking photographers, and I thought it'd be a really useful subject to talk about. You can see me. Oh, good. Shame about all of this. I'm hoping this will be tidied up in just over a month's time, so I apologise for all the hair. So that's a good point to start. The number one thing that I think people often miss with photographers, with their wedding photographer, is checking their style, the style of their photos. The number of times where I've spoken to someone who wants to book a wedding photographer and they've not even looked at their portfolio. And the problem with that is that at the end of the day, whatever comes out at the other end is exactly what is that photographer produces in their portfolio. So if you're not happy with their portfolio, there's no way you should expect to be happy with the photos that come out at the other end of it. So it's really important. Look on their social media, look on their websites. A good photographer will have a proper website, not just a social media account. And the other thing with regard to that is to make sure that you check that their portfolio, have a look at, if you can, look at a whole album, see what the whole wedding would look like. Because the reality is, it's really easy. If you take 10,000 photos for 10 of them to look really nice photos, but you want to make sure that when you have your wedding, that all of those photos are, that they're going to deliver to you, are going to be really good quality and you're going to love them. The next thing is personality. If you don't get on with your photographer on your wedding day, then that makes for a really long day. And even if you love their photos, you won't necessarily have a good experience with them, because if they're really awkward with you, if their style doesn't suit you, so I'm quite relaxed and friendly. Some people might prefer somebody a lot more serious. It very much depends on you as an individual, so you need to get to know those people. So make sure you speak to them, make sure you have meetings, and I would always recommend doing an engagement photo shoot with the photographer. A lot of photographers include them as an extra. They're normally around about £200. I include them for free in all of my wedding packages because it makes a massive difference. If you know that person turning up is someone that you get on with and that you enjoy spending time around, and you've had a really good experience from the engagement shoot, and you know those photos are going to be beautiful, then you can really enjoy the big day itself, not having to worry about the photographer. It also means that you get used to working with each other, and they get to know what it is that you want and what your style is as a person, as a couple. The next thing is reliability. So you need to know that you can rely on that person, and it kind of crosses over with the personality aspects. But the other thing with the from a reliability point of view is go and check, make sure that your photographer, the person that you're choosing, has got reviews from existing customers, because that makes a massive difference. And whether it's from the reviews or you've had recommendations, you need to make sure that you know that your photographer is as good as their marketing is saying that they are. Now here's the big one, which is the cost. And it's the one people think of first. But in an ideal world, if you've got the style, the personality and the reliability from your photographer, then the cost shouldn't matter. But this is the real world, and money does matter, and it's expensive. Expect to pay between 5 and 15% of your whole wedding just on your photographer. Please, if you can help it, don't go cheap. And the reason is that a professional photographer is turning up and providing a full service with experience, with professional gear. If you're paying £400 for a wedding photographer, that wouldn't even cover the costs of my memory cards that I'll turn up to your wedding with. So if you need to think about what is a professional photographer. And I would say if your budget is less than £800, you're not really looking at what I would call a proper, fully experienced professional wedding photographer. And things like having backups, insurance, websites and galleries, all of those things are really expensive. And that's why wedding photography is as expensive as it is. Um, and But the reality is there are many people, including myself, who had, £800 or less as a budget. You can sometimes get a really good deal on an offer on something, but I would say if you really need to keep the cost low, speak to someone like myself. If I'm out of your budget, that's fine. My number one goal is that people have a really good experience with their wedding photographer. And there's lots of people who are up and coming, who will work really hard, who actually have the skills, not necessarily having done a lot of weddings, but have done a lot of other photography. And I know I've got people that I recommend that can't afford me, but I would happily recommend to do their wedding. And the last thing really is getting booked. I got asked, literally today I got asked, you know, do we need to be thinking about booking you already for next year? And I was like, yes, 100%. Once you found your photographer, do whatever you can to make sure you get them booked, because it's a massive effort. If it's anything like me, I know most people aren't as fussy as I am, but if you're anything like me, make sure that you do whatever you can to secure your wedding photographer, whether that's just letting them know that you're going ahead with them, or making sure that you're paying any deposits. So for example, with me, if somebody says to me, we are going ahead with you, let's get things sorted like contracts and things like that, I will make sure that date's penciled in. I do ask for 50% upfront as a deposit towards the wedding costs, towards the package, but I realise that you might not be able to pay that all in one go. But so if it's going to take several months, that's okay. I'm not going to book someone else on top of that. But you need to let us know. And you need to let us know as soon as possible, especially now of all times, because it's just gone mad over the last few weeks with people booking weddings. People have been putting it off for, basically over a year now. Well, almost exactly a year. And all of a sudden, it's like the gun's gone off. Everybody's running towards the finish line. Everybody's booking. So you need to make sure that you're looking now and you're getting your name put down on people's calendars for that. Right, I rambled on enough, so I hope you found that useful. I'll be sticking this on my timeline. I really hope that if you've got any questions, just come to me and ask. Write them in the comments. Really happy to help anybody who's got any questions about wedding photography. Thanks very much.